Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, today, as expected, it's a bit of a quiet day today. It's Saturday. We see mainly sideways movement, a little bit of consolidation. That's, I think, pretty much what I said to you in this morning's video, that it might be a quiet day, especially after such a strong sell-off. And if it is, I can't remember if it was in the ETH video or the Bitcoin video, or maybe even the ADA video where I said it, but we seem to be in a wave 4, ready for the weekend. And yeah, as you know, a wave 4 can usually be a little bit slow. So we take a look at that here. Unchanged scenarios from the previous video. I'm not going to discuss everything here because we did that in previous videos extensively. It's all around this area. It's all around this area. And the key pivot point here, that's the next key pivot point where Bitcoin will make a decision, or the market will make a decision. It's pretty simple. I know sometimes people get confused with different scenarios, but we can boil it all down to one or two things here. And the point is, if we get into this red area, which I think we should do. So I'm currently looking at, okay, let me just explain in simple ways. If we get into this red area, which I think we should do, around 16.2k ideally, and we get an impulse out of it, then we are most likely in the green or the red count. And then we can get into the region 19 to 20k. And depending, you know, there are even other scenarios possible that I sort of have in the background, but I don't want to confuse people. They might even take us higher. Okay. But it's all about what is going to happen after we get into this pivot point here, into this region. If we, however, get into this, see a three-wave structure to the upside, which will be bearish. Yeah. So if we see 5 down anyway, which is not a disaster, because it would most likely be, where did I have it? It would most likely be a C wave here anyway. Let's say we are in the red wave B, then we're looking at A, B, C anyway. So we're expecting to a degree a 5-wave move down anyway. So it's all about, are we gonna see when we get out of this an ABC and stay below resistance? Don't get higher, yeah, and we can formulate that resistance as soon as we know where exactly the low will be. But if we see 5 waves move to the 5 waves to the upside, a first 5-wave move up and a 3-wave move down, that could provide another long entry signal for example. So there's a few things, you know, a few ways how this could be traded. I want to give you an example. One way to trade this would to scale into this support area with a stop loss below the support area. The support area is at 15,880. That's one trade setup. It's not even a bad trade setup. However, it's obviously one that you need to be aware could break, because it's not an impulse here. This is either an ugly diagonal pattern, which is less reliable than an impulse. I did explain that in previous videos, that impulses are make life easier for traders and for technical analysts. A diagonal pattern or correction makes it quite difficult. So it's not necessarily a high confidence trade setup here, but it is one where if we get into this, it's a decent long trade setup with a decent reward to risk ratio. Yeah. For example, let's say you enter somewhere around, as I said, 16.2k. You know, you set your stop loss somewhere below that area here, and a target I did mention around 19. Let's say we just aim for, even if we just aim for that wave 3 high, you're looking at roughly a reward to risk ratio of 5. Yeah, which means you basically have a great reward compared to the risk. Yeah, depending on where you set your stop loss. But that's one way of how you can trade this long. And another area, because I do expect a bounce out of this area anyway. I mean, we've come down quite a bit of a distance. Let me zoom in. We've come down quite a bit of a distance here. We are now on the, if I add the indicators, let me go to the 4-hour chart. Now we are pretty much oversold on the 4-hour chart. So, you know, I guess maybe around the weekly candle close or next week we could see some upside. So either way, even if I assume these two scenarios, obviously they are short-term bullish, even if we are in something more bearish and will break below this area, and as explained in previous videos, that's absolutely possible, because this move down wasn't good for our short-term long trade setups that we had here, or scenarios that we had on the radar. Yeah. So we could obviously break this area, but before we break it, even if we are in a more bearish setup, what we would see normally, let me pick the right thing. We obviously see, let's say we see 5 waves down and we only see 3 waves to the upside, an A, B, C. When we recognize and run against resistance, and then we see the first small, on the small scale, 5 waves down and 3 waves up, that's a short signal. And then this move down can be shorted. That's another way of how this can be traded. Unfortunately, can't give you an exact area yet where, but let's say we, it depends on where exactly the low will be. But then we can draw the fibs. It depends. Let's say 16.2k, then we have decent resistance in this area around 17.3 to 17.9k. But we'll be able to do that, you know, as we get into the red area, and then I'm going to show you a possible short trade setup as well. So these are just a couple of ways how this can be traded. Or if anybody is not confident in this, yeah, because it is sort of a lower confidence setup, because it's just a corrective wave or a diagonal, you can always wait for the next decent setup, which would be, let's say we get out of this in 5 waves and create a wave 1 up. Let's say a wave 1 of wave C or a wave 1 of wave 5. You wait for the 5 up, you wait for the 3 down, and this was the next entry, yeah? Because then you could trade a wave 3, 4, 5. The advantage of this is that if you see 5 waves up of a smaller degree out of this area, you can be more confident that, you know, we're going in the right direction, that this is moving up. If we then see 2 in the wave 2, you know, this is an entry, obviously a 1-2 setup. And if we see this support area is holding, that, you know, that is a higher probability setup. Of course, it could only be an ABC, yeah, something bearish. But then at least you could trade the C wave, or in this case, the wave 3, and get out at the top of the wave 3 or C. So yeah, these are basically 3 trade setups that we've got on the chart here that we can talk about. How this can be traded. Be aware, if it's not an impulse, you need to be aware that your success rate may be a bit lower, but still they are all setups with a decent reward to risk ratio. It continues to be the case that, yeah, we've got here this possible ABC or the 5 wave move in green. Someone commented we probably can't be in green because the wave 4 can't go in wave 1. That's not true. It's a diagonal pattern, so absolutely possible. So again, it's all about this red area. I do expect to get into this area. I do expect to get out of it. The question is, how do we get out of it? And that will allow us to forecast the next moves. So my forecast would be to get into this area and to move to the upside. Yeah. The question is just how, and that is what the price structure will reveal to us. What I do expect in the short term is here that we are in this move down in 5 waves, most likely. It doesn't look finished yet. I think we've done a wave 1 down. I think we've done a wave 2 up. I think we've done a wave 3 down. I think we're now in a wave 4, ready for the weekend. I mean, that should really go in theory a little bit higher. This could have been an A wave. We might just be doing the B, push higher in C into this area. That's based on the Fibonacci retracements into the area between 16,850 to 17,150 into this region. At the moment, I would expect us to get into this area and go down into the region of 16.2k, and then from here we can emerge out of the red zone. So that's currently how I see it. That's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And if you're interested, also check out the trading course that we offer on morecryptoonline.com. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.